This one, right? That, this is on. Okay.
Hello, everyone. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. And good evening to our colleagues who are joining us online, and also those who will be watching this press conference after this whole press conference. And once again, we welcome you. My name is Hussein Kasim. I'm from Ghana. I'm the Executive Director of the Center for Climate and Sustainability Empowerment, in short, CCSE. As part of the initiatives and activities that we do, we're trying to promote youth involvement or youth innovations in climate change. And it is for that reason that we've organized this press conference as part of the initiatives that we are implementing. It's called the Young Climate Innovators Program. We realize that youth is key when it comes to climate change interventions, and in order to be able to overcome some of the challenges, barriers, difficulties that these youth go through based on the experience that we've had, we've decided to have this press conference to go into details the role of youth in climate innovations. And it is for that reason that I've lined up these amazing speakers to throw more light on that and to also express their opinion when it comes to the topic. And so this is how the press conference is going to be. There will be some 2 minutes introduction of the speakers. They will introduce themselves and also tell us the work they do, how it's also related to climate innovation. And then we'll do second round where I'll ask them questions that is related to what they are doing specifically in terms of their activity or projects that they are doing on the ground. And then we'll have some Q&A session. And then if we still have enough time left, then we'll get their final feedback before the closing of the press conference. So without much ado, I want to hand over the microphone or the floor to my amazing speakers to introduce themselves and also tell us how their work is related to young people, encouraging young people to be involved in climate innovation. Over to you.
Well, thank you, Hussein. Good afternoon, everyone. Pleasure to be here with you. I'm Timothy Damon, founder and president of the Global Youth Development Institute. We are very proud to be working with CCSE as our partner in Ghana. And so at GYDI, we have 2 main activities that we work on in terms of youth empowerment. One of them is convening young people to be meaningfully engaged into the UNFCCC process, training them to understand negotiations, whether that's coming as an observer badge or as a party supporting their delegations. And then also we train them to do action for climate empowerment projects back at home so that you have both of these pieces from global to local being reflected. And in that sense, we've really seen a lot of the challenges and barriers that young people face in being able to be meaningfully engaged, both in this very complicated process that's very exclusive and difficult for many young people to access, but then also the barriers that they face back at home in terms of being able to get support, whether that's financial, institutional, technical support for working on their projects. So we'll be coming back to that topic in the second round, but just really would emphasize that young people really have so much more potential to be the solutions that we need for climate change, and we don't see enough support yet coming from this process. While there are many good efforts underway, there's still shortfalls and gaps that need to be addressed. So very happy to be here with you, Hussein, my colleagues, and to have this discussion with everyone.
Hi, nice to meet you all today. My name is Pan Yue. I'm originally from Nanjing, China. Currently, I'm based in Finland, working at the University of Helsinki and a member of Helsinki Institute of Sustainability Science. The University of Helsinki is at the forefront of global climate research. Our network of international research stations do inform the policy decisions worldwide, especially in the Arctic area. To empower more climate actions with innovation, we focus on creating new ideas with the youth and finding the science evidence of what is happening in the atmosphere, on the ground, and most importantly, throughout our community and the people. Led by the university, there's an innovation called Climate University Initiative, with a network of more than 28 universities and University of Applied Science in Finland. We offer free online courses globally to any youth who wishes to make a sustainability transition happen. To further contribute to this, we have the dedicated program called COPLA, that is to increase the research-based contribution and representation in the climate conference like here. That's why I'm honored today to be here representing a community deeply invested in solving the climate change issue. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. I'm Justin Gabu, Country Director of RIRA IBAN Partnership for Africa from Democratic Republic of Congo, and as a YOUNGO member in the SC Working Group. We are doing a great job. And that job that we are doing in our local organization is to empower youth and the children with key skills in biochar and agroecology skills to see how they can engage to have autonomy to their local communities. And the important thing that we are helping them with trainings and policy trainings is to help them how they can prepare to move from the local level to the international level. We have a local academy that we teach children. From this local academy, they move to the national academy, and then it helps them to move to the international negotiations to be able to engage to the UNFCCC process. Thank you so much for your time to be with us here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Dario Sevia Ankama from Ghana. And having realized the gaps in youth engagement, I think this is a very important press conference. And I'm a member of the CCSE and also a researcher currently based in Germany, conducting research on climate mobility as an Alexander von Humboldt Foundation scholar. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for insightful opening remarks. So we will zoom into the second round, which will be more into specifically what you do. So I'll start with Tim. Tim, your role as president of the Global Youth Development Institute, GYDI, gives you a unique perspective on fostering youth potential globally. What do you see as the most significant institutional or systematic barrier that currently prevents young people from fully realizing their innovative ideas in climate action? And how can organizations like GYDI help overcome this?
Yes, thank you. So to come back to this now for the second round, and just to say that when it comes to youth engagement in this process and climate action, so I first started in 2011 as an undergraduate student who did research with a professor at COP17 in Durban. and has been in this process since then and trying to create a lot of opportunities for young people, especially those with the most difficulties, to be able to access this process, to be able to do so. So in terms of the barriers that we've seen, there are systemic gaps that were there when I started, and they're still there now. These include obviously visas and those kinds of political aspects. It especially includes access to financial resources to be able to participate in these spaces, or when we're talking about the domestic level, having the finance to be able to do projects. Because young people have a lot of the innovative solutions, they understand their communities, they need employment, so they need that finance. But what we see is that the GCF is not set up to cater to local communities and to young people. So what we've really developed as a model from GYDI is this concept of an ACE platform. ACE, again, is Action for Climate Empowerment. And this platform would have both a financial and a non-financial component. And so in the non-financial component, you're able to provide more centralization for all of the ACE activities that are going on. If you've followed ACE, then you know that it's actually surprisingly difficult to know necessarily what's going on in a particular country or community because there's not a centralized repository for that information. And then in terms of the financial component for this, it's really to link the supply side and the demand side of finance. So you have, on the one hand, a lot of philanthropy, social corporate responsibility, other private sector actors who might say they want to fund youth, but then there's not a bridge for them to get to those youth. And on the other hand, you have youth who desperately need that money and they have ideas and projects, or maybe they're not quite there yet and they need somewhat of an incubator kind of component, accelerator, give them capacity building as well to empower them to be able to make a good project proposal, because of course we can't lower the quality and regulation of proposals, but we need to lift up the youth and youth organizations so that they actually can qualify and meet those criteria. So that's one of the concepts that we've brought to the table as GYDI, and we're not in a position to be able to directly fund youth activities, but we do a lot in terms of mentoring them, guiding them to form NGOs, to get them admitted to this process, to help them to design good project proposals, to be able to get those into the hands of potential funders. So it is a struggle. It has been, it still is a struggle, but we're doing what we can with what we have available and really always looking for more partnerships to be able to build up, to try to do this work better and to build these solutions, because it's not this process that's delivering all the solutions that we need. We all need to also be the solutions and implement them where we have the innovative ideas.
Thank you so much, Tim. Definitely finance is key when it comes to empowering young people to take up their initiatives to the next level. And that will take me to the next question to Ms. Pan, especially coming from a research background. As a researcher at Helsinki University, your academic background provides a crucial evidence-based lens. Could you elaborate on a specific area of your research that highlights an innovative approach to climate challenges, and how do you envision the findings of this research being done at your university translated into actionable solutions by youth on the ground?
Thank you, Hossein. It's a really interesting question you're raising up. Actually, in our university, we have a quite popular concept now. It's called science practitioner. And we especially trying to contribute to the community work and guide more diverse group in the university community. In practice, what we do is to come up with an idea called seeds funding. So we're giving the community the authority to decide what they're trying to plan to do with the sustainability actions in the university, and we give them the finance instrument. And particular inspiring case from those funded projects, there's one called Wiki Community Garden Project, known as Time Meet Association. Here, the young scientists in the ecology and biology spent hundreds of hours just to design a more rich biodiversity-based community garden. where those gardens are usually based in the more urban settings. It's kind of like a test bed for a lot of science-based ideas and research and the youth empowerment actions. Creatively, they use over 100 of kilos of organic waste, such as paper, dead wood, and those second-hand clothes that you can imagine how they just buried under the ground and to produce these natural fertilizers. The gardens is also like a social experiment. They run as a community-based activity, so all the members who join in the WhatsApp group, they have the equal ownership and decision-making power over the land use. That also increase the possibility to create some climate innovations. The gardens also provide spaces for the living life in the urban areas, such as little folks and birds and insects that we almost not seeing so much in the city. Now they are coming back to our garden. And they help with the management of groundwater as well. So this is a great example of how youth and science-led actions can shape a healthier urban landscape. Another great example of this model is implemented in the Finnish kindergartens. Those gardens were set up there to actively involve the children and the young students. As a result, they improve both physical and mental health, for sure. And thanks for this research in the university, many schools now across Finland are adopting this approach. In the end, I wanted to say that we're not just doing the research for the youth, we do it with the youth and for the youth. And together, we're turning the knowledge into action, innovation, and hope. Thank you very much.
Definitely, thank you so much. I mean, you've said it all. Youth engagement is very key, and for us to be able to engage the youth effectively, they need that sort of empowerment to be able to engage meaningfully. Justin, I'll just come to you. Justin, you are part of the ACE working group, which is the Action for Climate Empowerment within YOUNGO, which places you right at the intersection of youth advocacy and climate education. Given the focus of the ACE, which is Action for Climate Empowerment Agenda, what innovative strategies or tools is YOUNGO ACE Working Group employing to empower young people to drive climate action?
Thank you so much for that question. As part of YOUNGO's ACE Working Group, I've had the privilege to work at the intersection of youth advocacy and climate education, where real change begins. Our focus is on turning knowledge into action. One of our flagship efforts is ACE Youth Negotiation Program, and which empowers youth people with skills to engage effectively in climate negotiations. It's about more than just being present at COPs or SB. It's about being prepared to influence outcomes. And we are also building and thinking about regional ACE hubs and promoting peer-to-peer learning so that climate education is tailored to local context and communities. This ensures that youth from all regions, especially from the global south, have equal access to knowledge and tools. Another powerful strategy is using digital storytelling and social media to amplify youth voices. We've seen how a personal story can spark collective action and policy shift. In all of this, our aim is clear: to empower young people not just to understand climate issues, but to lead solutions. Through education, engagement, and creativity, we are building many ideas and good, new, and future young people to engage and to be a great generation that's ready to act. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Darius. You're a member of the Center for Climate and Sustainability Empowerment, CCSE, and as a member, you stand between education, capacity building, and practical implementation on the ground in terms of initiatives from young people. Beyond traditional educational approaches, which most of my colleagues here have talked about, what innovative methods or partnership is the center exploring to equip young people with the skills and knowledge necessary to become effective climate innovators and sustainability leaders in their communities?
All right, thank you very much. And I appreciate the works my colleagues are doing in using mainstream education in impacting young people. So at the CCSE, we are mostly looking at using place-based approaches to train young people to innovate solutions. And one key program that we have is the Youth Climate Innovators Program that seeks to build the capacity of young people to engage in research, co-design, local level solutions to climate crisis. And these problems are to be identified by these young people. So these are not problems that we impose on them and give them solutions to implement, but they identify the problems themselves and co-create those solutions as a team and then implement those at the local level. And one important thing about that is the intergenerational and mentorship capacities that we include in our program, where young people are able to learn and also receive knowledge from traditional leaders through our mentorship connections, and also from experts like climate scientists for them to receive the needed assistance and support for their research at the local level. And this has seen so much impact where you have local youth leading the solutions of their communities. So I think outside the mainstream educational system, the classroom setting of building capacity, at the CCSE, we mostly using the place-based approach where we engage with youth at the grassroots level for them to initiate these solutions to tackle the crisis that they have identified, because they are the ones that go through these problems. They are the ones that experience it at the local level, and they also have the innovation to be able to design those solutions that can address their challenges. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Time is far gone. Our audience have been following us, listening to us, so we'll give room for 1-2 questions, and then we'll come back to you if you have some few closing remarks, then we'll bring the press conference to an end. So please, the floor is open to the audience. Any question, any contribution?
Thank you. This is Mukhlis Rahman from Bangladesh. I just like to know what sort of barriers and challenges that you face in dealing with this children-focused climate advocacy at the local, regional, and this COP level. Thank you.
Okay, so this is more of young people. So, Julius, you want to take it up? ACE Working Group. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for the question. First of all, youth are facing on many challenges. First one is lack of information. They have challenges to access to information, the real and good information. The other level is logistical and finance challenges. So they can have information from these youth or children, but when they have information, now finance and the logistical, it's become the barrier for them to attend or to engage. And the confidence is other challenge that youth are facing, because in the national level, many leaders cannot have ability to give that confidence to these youth to be engaged and to represent the government, only because they are young people. But if we can have some solutions about these challenges, I think we can change things. This is some challenges that youth are facing, yeah.
Maybe I can add a bit more on my experience of teaching and coaching some of the student activities. So I can sense that general climate depression from the youngsters, where they were drawn with massive informations online, and they were being trained with very thematic and academic knowledges, where what they really need is this kind of incubator type of facilitation that help them to turn the ideas or any of their depression into the action. Because the more you stay in this kind of climate depression, the more it's kind of dragging you behind for the real actions. So in our course and the engagement I had with the youth, I sometimes introduce them to do meditation with the nature. There's many good courses online guided by the lots of expertise, and to do this climate meditations to deal with that. So that's the concern.
Yeah, maybe probably from Africa and Global South, I would like to bring this perspective also in. So I think one of the biggest challenges that mostly from Global South we experience is the fact that in funding, you realize that a lot of research is done by Global North institutes, and then those results are used by these institutes to gain the funding they need for programs that are implemented, mostly that are co-designed in the Global North and then implemented in the Global South. So there is that gap of youth involvement. So how do we include young people in designing this research, participating in this research, not becoming the beneficiaries only? So it's almost like in climate communication also, we look at youth as victims of climate change and not co-creators of solution. So this has been one of the challenges. So it also makes it very difficult for these young people to be able to access financing, because those research, those evidences were not gathered by them, but were done by the Global North Institute. So they have the opportunity to leverage those results to get the financing that they need to implement those projects. So how do we fix this gap and including young people in this research?
All right, so soon I think we are done. It's 4 o'clock and we don't want to exceed the time. A big thank you to my amazing speakers. You guys have done very well. And thank you so much to the audience, those who are here and those joining us online. We'll be talking about the same issue on the 23rd, but with different audience also expressing their opinion on this. So hopefully we'll see you on the 23rd. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a good day.